Let's read Peppa's Magical Halloween. It was Halloween and Peppa and George were dressed up in costumes, ready to go to magical Halloween playgroup. "I'm a magical witch, Daddy," said Peppa, "and George is a magical... what are you, George?" "Monster, grrr," said George. "Amazing," said Daddy Pig, "and very magical." Daddy Pig went to open the front door. "Wait, Daddy!" cried Peppa. "I can use magic to open the door." She pointed at the door and shouted, "Open!" But the door didn't open. "Oh," said Peppa, sighing. "I'm not magical." "I'm sure you are, Peppa," said Daddy Pig. "Maybe magical Halloween playgroup will help." "Yes!" cried Peppa. Peppa and George were very excited when they arrived at magical Halloween playgroup. Everyone was dressed in Halloween costumes, even Madame Gazelle. "Happy Halloween, children!" cried Madame Gazelle, smiling, "and welcome." Halloween was Madame Gazelle's favourite day of the year. "Happy Halloween, Madame Gazelle!" everyone cheered. The children sat down and Madame Gazelle told them all about the magical activities they were going to do. "We will learn to fly on broomsticks, decorate magic wands, eat a Halloween feast, and then," Madame Gazelle paused, "we will all cast a special magic spell together." "Hooray!" everyone cheered. Magical Halloween playgroup sounded brilliant. First, Madame Gazelle helped the children get their broomsticks ready for their flying lesson. Peppa decorated hers with flowers and rainbow ribbons. She even made a little seat for Teddy. "It's so pretty," said Peppa. "Ready to fly, Teddy?" Next, Madame Gazelle asked the children to grab their broomsticks and line up to go outside. "Hold on tight as we zoom on our brooms," she called, leading them on their flight. Peppa and her friends zoomed along, pretending to fly on their broomsticks. "Watch out for the bats! Now duck under the branch!" cried Madame Gazelle. "Ooh, it's a bit bumpy here. Let's slow down and wave to Mrs. Owl." "Whee! I love flying!" shouted Peppa. "It's so magical." "I love it too!" shouted Molly Mole. Then Madame Gazelle brought the craft tables outside so the children could make magic wands. "Ooh!" they cried. Madame Gazelle told everyone to pick a wand to decorate from the special box. "Don't forget to sprinkle on some fairy dust, children," she said. "We'll need it for our magic spell later." Once everyone had finished making their magic wands, it was time for the Halloween feast. There were bottles of colour-changing drinks, pretend potions in cauldrons, wobbly jelly bats, toffee apples, pumpkin cupcakes, and lots of witch hat-shaped sandwiches. "Delicious!" said Mandy Mouse, tucking into a jelly bat. "Everything tastes yummy and magical," cried Peppa. "Munch! Chomp!" When the feast was over, Madame Gazelle asked Peppa and her friends to form a circle, holding their magic wands. "Now, children," she began, "we have come to the most important activity of the day, casting a magic spell together." "Hooray!" everyone cheered. "To do this, we all need to take part, otherwise the spell won't work," said Madame Gazelle. First, the children needed to collect all the ingredients for the spell. Gerald Giraffe found a bag of adventure. Mandy Mouse found a bottle of kindness. Richard Rabbit found a pinch of politeness. George found a jar of giggles. And Peppa found a sprinkle of fun. Everyone added their magical ingredient to the big pot. Madame Gazelle stirred all the ingredients together. Wonderful, she said. Now, does anyone know some magic words? Peppa put up her hand. Please. That's an excellent magic word, Peppa, said Madame Gazelle. We must include that. Any others? The children shouted out lots of fantastic magic words. Abracadabra, swooshity swish, wibbly bibbly. Madame Gazelle, said Peppa, how does the spell work? There is a little bit of magic in every one of us, explained Madame Gazelle. Now repeat the magic words after me and then wave your wands. Abracadabra, swishity swish, wobbly bobbly, please. Poof! Rainbow smoke filled the air, and when it cleared, the children saw their parents. They had appeared as if from nowhere. Wow, the children cried, so magical. You see, we're all magical, said Madame Gazelle. Yes, cheered the children. Everyone said thank you to Madame Gazelle and then went home happily with their magical wands and broomsticks. When Peppa and George got to their front door, Daddy Pig wanted to test out his magic. He asked Peppa if he could borrow her wand. Then he pointed it at the front door and said, "Open!" But nothing happened. "Let me try," said Peppa. She held her wand up and tapped it on the door. Tap, tap. Then she said, "Open, please." And the door opened. Mummy Pig was waiting inside. "Don't worry, Daddy," said Peppa. "There is a little bit of magic in all of us. Maybe yours just doesn't open doors." "I think Daddy Pig just forgot to say the magic word," said Mummy Pig. Peppa and George giggled. Hee! Peppa loves magical Halloween playgroup. Everyone loves magical Halloween playgroup.